So we do record all the meetings. They're on the Downtown Chaska website. Sorry, Steve. And also they come out in the email follow-up from today's meeting. So lots of ways if you can't be here or on Zoom. And we do have a couple people that signed in. We've got John and Bob and Kristen. I don't think we're going to do a round of introductions because we do have a lot to get to today, although I would love that because I see some new faces here. So for those of you that I haven't met, as I just said, we're not doing introductions. My name is Jen Angel, and I am the administrator for the Downtown Business Alliance, the SSD, which is our little piece of heaven down here that helps us do some of the events and the marketing, and part of why we're working with Max to figure out how to activate some of the new spaces like our paseos and maybe a pocket park. So we'll get more into that, but really what we aim to do is support you all as businesses and to drive engagement and retention down here. So no introductions. Well, that's Julie. You should.
Yeah, I'll introduce myself. Hi, everybody. I'm Julie Grove. I'm the Economic Development Coordinator here at the city. Thank you all for coming. It's great to see so many faces and so many new faces. Before we get started, because I know we have a lot to do, I just wanted to make a couple of announcements. One, I don't know if I have started a new business update email. So if you didn't receive it, it went out at the end of January. If you didn't receive it, I will just, if you sign up and provide your emails, I'll add you to that email list. Or you can just let me know at some point, either
A lot of people there.
or before you leave today, and I'll make sure to add you to that email. If you'd like to receive updates, they're going to come out monthly, and it'll just be updates on kind of business news, if there's business resources that are available, any news like a spotlight on a business, hopefully each month. And if there's businesses opening or closing, just provide some information on some of that stuff. I also wanted to just make one other announcement. We're luckily working with Max Musicant to do an activation plan, which is one of the reasons we're all here today to do a focus group with Max. We also are working with U of M students, and some of them are sitting in the back if you guys want to wave. There are some that are virtual. They are also working at the same time on a placemaking project in the paseos for downtown. Dan, if you want to sit over here, go ahead. They are here. I don't know if you guys want to introduce yourself. They'll be doing some interviews with some businesses. They'll be kind of doing some similar work to Max, but they're going to be working on kind of a parallel separate track. So if you get any emails from them and you're not sure who it is, feel free to reach out to me, but they're working with us as well. So I just wanted to make sure you knew about them. They're here just to, so you can see their faces and greet everybody. I don't know if you wanted to say hi or not, but.
Just say hi.
Yeah, we'll say hi.
And that's all I have. So we can get started. First item is the 41.
Yep. You guys are on.
So you guys are on. Just tell me when you want me to switch pages.
Okay, will do. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. My name is Darren Schilke. What a great day to celebrate Valentine's Day and talk about a highway project. I'm Darren Schilke. I'm the Deputy County Engineer for Harper County Public Works. I guess I'm assumed the role of the project manager because we're short on staff, but I've been involved with this project from the inception. Harper County is the lead agency, but the city of Chaska is very much an involved partner as well as state DOT as well. So I'm in that. This project, I guess, initiated back in 2018 to 2020 when Carver County led a border study on Highway 10 all the way from 61 on the east end all the way west to Highway 40, the west intersection. So this is the first major project that's being done with that border study. I'll say it's not going to be the last at all either. It's such a long stretch that we have to break that segment up into chunks, just financially, just for all the identified in that border.
I don't want to see me trying to hear.
Exciting. We're almost to the, I guess, so-called finish line, getting ready for construction. I guess for those that attended the January meeting, some of this will be a refresher, which is great, but there's so many new faces here, which is awesome. I'm gonna hit on the refresher part, and I'm gonna have these gentlemen over here help with the actual construction details because they talk with the contractor and know more than I do about what their plan is today. So, so with that. So I introduce myself, but the other key people going forward will be Jeff Kurth. He's with SRF Consulting Group. He's going to be the lead construction project manager for the project. Helping, assisting him is Derek Main. He's from our office, so he's going to be kind of his assistant or deputy. Also Sarah Rennie, sitting right in the center over here, who's going to be leading our communications efforts. She's been very heavily involved already, reaching out to businesses, especially in the project area. So if you don't know her, you'll get to know her very soon. So thank her team quite a bit for all their help. All their contact info is here. I should add that we'll be sharing this.
Not figure out how to get this.
So don't.
I don't even know how to turn it on.
Next one. So, we have a project website. Definitely scan that code if you want. Again, we're gonna send this around. There'll be ways for people to sign up for email updates on there. There's gonna be a phone hotline that'll go right to our project team as well. So if you don't know who to call, go to this project website or send people here. They'll at least get them started, and Sarah and her team can get it, the questions to the right person, I guess, in the project. So what this project is, it starts from Highway 212 on the very west end and ends at Old Audubon Road on the very east end. The core of the project, I'll say, is from Victoria Drive, the full reconstruction of Victoria Drive, so where the city's water treatment plant, or I guess public services areas is at over there. It starts from there and goes all the way to just past Ridge Lane by the Chaska Community Center. So that's where the brunt of the work is. I'll say the two ends is a resurfacing project that we're doing. We're also adding some right turn lanes on the very west end as well. So if you're driving this when it's complete, if you're heading westbound, heading towards 212, you will have 2 lanes of traffic all the way to the interchange. However, heading eastbound, we're leaving it 1 lane. We're leaving it that way at this point in time, just waiting for future development to happen on the south side of Englewood Boulevard, just west of forget the city street name there, but just west of Victoria Drive. So there'll be center medians as well, added in there for safety reasons, but roundabouts, you'll have lots of roundabouts to go through. There'll be one at Very Road, that'll be right up, Jeff will get at that right away. That'll be the first one in the spring. White Oak Drive, which I know residents in that area are excited about. Highway 41, this is going to be a 2-lane all the way around roundabout. It's going to be a fairly big one. Then also a single lane roundabout Park Ridge Drive by the community side. I mentioned the pavement resurfacing. I think the biggest one, we'll try to get on with some of the graphics too, is all the trail connections we're doing. It's not just about the highway here and operations and safety. There's some very significant ped improvements. There's 2 new underpasses included with this project, which are very expensive. One's under Highway 41, another one's under Highway 10 on the east side of 41. So, in addition with that, there'll be, I guess, for any of the at-grade crossings of Highway 10, there'll be the push button activated signs that light up, the LED lights that go up around the sign. They'll be able to push those as well. I know if you drive up there today, there's a huge construction area going on with the Chaska Safety Campus. So we have been coordinating with them as well. So primary one is safety, but we're also looking at improving traffic flow. Everything to the west is very much developing, so we're anticipating a lot more traffic through this area. So we're planning for that. So that's why it's going to 2 lanes each way in areas. Better access. I think it'd be more predictable too, travel times, especially during the peak times. In particular, the 41 and 10 intersection, that can be really jammed up at times. So, and then definitely a lot more options. I think you'll be able to go from Reveau Road, I'll just say the Brandondale area, all the way west to 212 now. That's this project is done. So this isn't the only show in town for us, at least. We have a lot of big projects going on. 212 is another one that our office is leading as well. But this is a zoomed in area of Chanhassen, Chaska, and Victoria. These are all the projects that just we are leading going on right now. So we've purposely actually planned projects to kind of avoid this area while this one was going on and try to get other projects done before this one happened as well. So you can kind of see, this is just the start of, this is just 2025 as well. If I show you in the next 2 years, this whole area would almost be lit up like a Christmas tree. So, so this is our project down here. We do have a roundabout that's starting at 11:14 this spring as well. South side of Arboretum, that's a big project for new Highway 18. That's already underway. So you kind of get the picture that we're trying to coordinate around all these other ones. With that, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna hand it over to Jeff because he has more info on the actual schedule, what the contract is planning to do for this year.
Morning, thanks, Darren. Thanks everyone for having us. I'm Jeff Kurth, I'll be the construction project manager going forward. We do have a contractor on board and a little bit, we've seen the first project schedule from them, so a little more information to share today than last time. Rough timeline here, we got tree clearing coming up that has to be done by March 31st because of bat and environmental restrictions. The heavy part of construction will be our typical construction season, April through November. And there is a potential for some work to continue into 2026, with a deadline of in June of 2026 for the final completion. So this is the overall project area. Darren walked through kind of what it was and where everything was. If you go to the next slide, it'll be a little more detail. We'll start talking about how we're gonna build it. Generally, it's phased from the west side to the east side. There is the two reconstruction areas on the outside with the kind of dotted lines or the split lines there. So there were some options there. It's less impactful for traffic. So the contractor kind of had a little more leeway on when they did it, if it's this year in the spring or the fall. We'll kind of just talk west to east on how we're gonna phase it. The contractor has said they want to start on the west end with that resurfacing area with the Bavaria Road interchange or the intersection there. And then we'll go into more detail on each one, but the yellow is the first stage, we call it stage 1A. The blue, the main area with Highway 41 and the closure there, which is probably the most impactful. That's during summer, while school's out. That's what we call stage 1B, and then there's both sides of that, that's stage 1C, which will pretty much be stage 1B, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then traveling to the east, the purple area, that is either the end of this year or the contractor has the option to finish that stage up in 2026, depending on how this season goes. The initial schedule shows them completing all the work this year, which is a very good sign, very good to know. And then the stage on the east side with the resurfacing, they're planning on doing that with the last stage here, stage 2A, as we call it. One thing to note, there is a trail connection on the east side of the project that requires a surcharge, which is basically piling dirt higher than you would need to for the trail, letting it sit, letting it settle out. So it will look like we start work on the east side, nothing goes on all summer, and then we get to it at the end of the season, that's why. So we'll go through some of the closures and some of the impacts with each stage. Our first stage, we are closing Bavaria and the County Road 10 intersection. And we got some of the detours there. We'll distribute these out and we'll have these available after on our website, so you can get more information, or you can look at them a little closer, what the actual detours are. So this will be first thing in the spring, going up until I think June, the beginning of June when school's out, and then we'll go to the next stage. So we're also showing more access in terms of how you would get to some of the schools specifically and some of the other stuff around the project areas. Next one. And obviously I highlighted the northeast corner of Highway 41 and County Road 10. A lot of schools in the community center there and a lot of access concerns with that area. So this is our second stage. This will be while school's out during the summer. This is where we'll be working on Highway 41, focusing there and focusing on the White Oaks neighborhood access and the roundabout there. So really focused on those two areas first and closing both areas, but we'll maintain access to the White Oaks neighborhood as part of that. Getting across Highway 10 will be a little bit difficult through construction, but there will always be access there to get through. Again, more showing the different access routes a little bit closer, how to get to the community center and the middle school. So this will be our stage 1C. After the Highway 41 is reopened north and south and White Oaks intersection is built, there's still the opportunity to work around the Highway 41 interchange. There's still work with walls and the culverts underneath. While the road is open, but still more work to do in that area. So there's that option to really focus on reopening Highway 41, really focused on the White Oaks neighborhood roundabout and getting those open, but still then allowing some more of the work off the road to happen during that time. So again, more of the access routes into the school and community center there. And then this is our last stage, would be to the east of Highway 41, focusing on that last piece of the project there. And Again, this is potentially 2026, but right now I think they're gonna focus on trying to get it all done this year. And similar access to the school and community center there. So some upcoming things next week, we have an open house, hopefully see a lot of people there. We'll have myself and other county staff there. We'll have bigger role plots or areas where you can see the project overall, and we'll be able to answer questions about access, communications, all that kind of good stuff. So that's next week, Wednesday from 4 to 6. We'll have closure detours and more maps and information there. And a couple of other upcoming meetings we'll be at and presenting at and available for questions will be on March 14th for the business meeting, and then the Chaska Community Center and Schools meeting as well. Thank you very much.
I know it was a lot of info, but is there any questions that this group had for us?
What's the anticipated length of time of the closure of the 1B, the 41 north-south closure?
Good question. So the hardest part of the project during the summer months, so we're planning to, they can't close it any earlier until the day after school gets out for the summer. So I think that's June 9th, 8th or 9th, somewhere in there. And then essentially the Friday before Labor Day is when they have to have 41 north and south back open, as well as west of White Oak Drive at a minimum. So if you go to the next, you go ahead with like a slide or two. You can, so yeah, so for this may be the condition after Labor Day where they could still be working in front of the public safety campus still. I think Jeff said they're leaning towards maybe trying to even get that done. That aggressively, so I think so at a minimum north-south and 41 will be open by Labor Day as well as west.
And the detour there, I can't quite make out what the symbols mean. So if you're coming south, say on 41 and you want to get downtown, where do you go?
So yeah, right there. So, yeah, it is a little bit hard to see. So it's this blue line. So the detour will be 212. I guess the sign detour, I should clarify, we're gonna direct traffic to a signage. It'll be 212 down to the John McCarver Parkway, interchange, and then 61 down to downtown.
Bigwoods Boulevard will be open too.
Yeah, so I say that's our sign one. I'm sure people are gonna use Bigwoods Boulevard as an alternate route, or just plan ahead and come downtown from the eastern side too.
But I think that north-south closure is the most impactful to the downtown businesses, and that's our area of concern.
One caveat with that, in addition to contractual terms about when they can close it and have to open it, there's also a financial incentive in our contract to hopefully motivate the contractor to finish not only on time but early with specific that piece, that closure.
So to that point, we are incentivizing like $10,000 a day for every day early before Labor Day that they can get on, up to a max of $100,000. So I'm not saying they'll necessarily hit 10 days early, but we're paying them or throwing a carrot out there that they could. And it's also a way for the mitigates risk schedule delays that we may incur. So it's additional weather or utilities or something gets in the way that slows them down. They're entitled to extra days. Well, maybe they make that 10 days up that way. Thank you for the question. Anyone else? Okay. Well, like I said earlier, we'll share this PowerPoint presentation and get it out to this entire group. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out to our project team. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here.
I left some project handouts and contact cards here on the table as well.
And we discussed last meeting, we'll work closely with them like we did with the downtown projects to continue to push out updates and information so that you all are aware. And then from communicating to the community about how to get downtown, we're focused on that too. You heard Julie mentioned, or Dan mentioned Bigwoods Boulevard, like that's a much more quicker route than going all the way to 212. So we'll put some communication out there so the community understands how to get down and around when that 41 area is closed.
Any questions or concerns?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, if anybody needs coffee, it is in the corner if you want to refill. We're gonna move right into that.
Yeah, let's do it. Something a little bit more fun than road construction. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. You want to grab a marker and then pass it down? Oh, so that's-
For those that may not know the downtown Chaska board, who is the president, we talked with Steve, who runs the chamber, and Steve Ritz. president is
A little
first.
overkill. Do you mind using a marker for the, just so I
On our
put them up?
The Fleming and
Bad to take
Kristen,
two.
secretary,
No.
Mel is at Nicolay Bank. is our treasurer, And that rounds out pretty much the core of the business group. We are looking for new members, so if you have a desire to spend one Friday morning a month with us, we would love to have more participation. I think the more minds we have, that's part of what we're excited about with Max, the more we can do for downtown. Yes. Yes.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the introductions, Jen and Julie, for having me here and just inviting me in to collaborate with you all on to bring more activity and energy and social and business vitality to downtown Chaska. I'll do a very brief overview of our project and what our outcomes are over the length of our engagement, and then talk about our agenda today, and then we'll just get right into spending the rest of our time of getting input from you all, sharing it out, discussing it, and hopefully creating some shared understanding and direction coming out of this that then shapes our recommendations and then actually things that happen on the ground, which is ultimately what I create. So I'm Max Musicant. I'm the founder and principal of the Musicant Group. We're a mission-driven organization dedicated to creating places where people want to be. Wherever people want to be, they want to do things nearby, live, work, eat, play, shop, etc. And these places are good for community and commerce. So that's what we do. And we do that by both implementing activations. So we produce events and communications and source physical improvements. Most recently, we served as the staff for the 50th in France Business Association for the 3 years coming out of COVID. So we're intimately familiar with the nuances of walkable commercial districts and running an association and all the myriad of things of joys and struggles and challenges of doing that in small business ownership. So we leverage that experience of doing real things to also work with communities to help them do better with their collaborators and stakeholders. So I'll also stick around after the meeting because I know we don't have a lot of time, but I'd be happy to go deeper and have longer conversations with anyone who's interested today. So the first thing I want everyone to do is you hopefully have at least access to a Post-it note in front of you. Rip those apart, you can take some, but the first thing is I'd like everyone to write the name of their business on it, and then the top up to 3 things that about are happening in downtown Chaska that most support your business's success. These could be a physical feature, it could be an event, it could be marketing, it could be a type of customer behavior. What are the 3 things up to 3 things happening in downtown Chaska that most support your business being successful? This is the only comment where I'll ask you to put your business's name in front of it, because we'll get into some other things which will be shared but not attributed to you. And then let's let us be not just sitting down today. When you're done, coming up and put it on the first sheet of paper over here.
That was like,
There's no wrong answers, of course. This goes to.
Yeah, nothing to do. Get on it, girl.
Your parts are fine.
What?
What about?
All right, we're done, coming up. Post it.
Yeah.
City Square.
I'm just gonna start reading these out as we put them up.
Good job.
Things and events, city park and rec events, downtown destinations.
Wait, I feel like we did our track.
Chaska,
That's what I was saying. I was like, why am I writing this down?
Taylor.
It
City Square Park.
No, no.
foot traffic, visibility,
Read out.
visibility, Fire Nights Festival, things that brings people downtown.
We did.
Oh.
We went the wrong way with that.
Highway 41 stops. Destination food, coffee,
Yeah.
events, association events, city events, parking, walkability. Any last lingering ones out there?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry, we went reverse, so there's a couple
Yeah.
up on there that might sound a little weird because
What do you mean
The-
reverse?
the three of us heard wrong in the sense that we thought what were barriers.
Oh, sure, we're getting that.
Okay, so we'll keep
We're
that
adding
one.
it.
There's maybe one or two up there that are regarded maybe more in the barrier category, but
Okay.
those are some,
Maybe
just quick
I'll
ones.
Edit them afterwards, so I don't.
So-
have to them as assets. Oh, yeah. and-
I've got one here. Access to services such as the library, Carver County Social Services, sidewalks, accessibility for people without vehicles, so walkability potentially
Yeah.
tied to that too.
Tourism, festival events, business networking, residential development, social media. Is there anything, there seem to be some themes here on events and walkability, and some of the public spaces. Anything that was surprising that's coming out of here, or something that you think is missing after coming out of, yeah?
just a note, I think we have some
I think
viewers
she
on
read some.
Zoom, so just want to make sure that they feel.
Jen
like-
read some.
Oh, I'm, I
We're
got it.
writing those
Oh,
down.
you did?
So,
Okay.
Yeah, so I should have formally said, they're writing in the comments.
Okay,
and we'll put them up
perfect.
here.
All right.
Any themes that you feel like are arising out of here? The events are important to you all, does that feel correct? And the walkability
Yep.
is also important to you all? Anything that feels missing up here from now that maybe has spurred your imagination after reading them off of Zoom?
The one that was mentioned, but I'd like to stress, I guess, is people living downtown.
Yeah,
That's, I look at what that did to Victoria and I say, wow, you know, that's a big thing.
yeah. Anything else that's come up in your mind since you just read all these off? Okay. Next, we'll get into some of the obstacles and challenges. You do not need to write your name on this one. But it's also, of course, very valuable. So what are the top 3 things? And the way we're gonna phrase this, I'm very particular about how we're gonna phrase it. Which is that we're not gonna talk about a problem. We're not gonna talk about something that's wrong. We wanna talk about something that's missing that you wish was happening or present. So does that make sense? It's like, the difference would be, well, let's talk about like walkability. It's hard to walk around here. That wouldn't be, I want to be able to walk around safely without concern. That's the aspiration. So we wanted to, what is something that we wanted, that you would want to see present, that you want to have achieved, that doesn't currently exist, or doesn't currently exist to the degree that you would want it, that would support, that would most support your business being successful, up to 3 of those. Does that make sense? So it's something that's missing that you want to have happen. Or be, or occur, or be present, or be physically here in downtown Chaska.
I'm gonna research. Oh, there we go. That's nice.
And typically when you do these exercises, the missing list is 3 to 5 times longer than the present assets list. So don't feel shy about listing, getting to 3, or if you guys do 1.
See it. I don't need to worry about it. What do we do?
And again, these can be behaviors or actions or things ephemeral or physical. Use our anchor, you come up with your own, or you see anyone else's.
My big sloppy handwriting.
Oh, no,
Don't
it's
read it,
good.
don't
No,
read
no,
it.
these are very real. I don't want people, I want people to come up with their own without, you know.
See that well.
Hmm?
Is it a kid? I can't.
Right. They're like magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Wait till people, yeah, that's just, why, do yourself. Don't do it.
Especially if you need that, they're almost going to do that. Yeah. Let's see for less. Would add some housing density.
All right, guys, you can start playing up.
Oh, really? Something.
Great.
along the river. The friends. Yeah, I guess control.
Should have three more. Grab a chunk. Missing.
Good one.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know about that, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
She's
Oh,
already on.
okay,
she's
she
already
already
on it.
is. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm
Got it,
trying to
okay.
see this guy,
Oh, yeah.
this guy.
The EP counselors talked
Yeah.
about him.
And I met some of your.
I'm at. Let me take it up.
Thanks. Oh, yeah.
All right, any last ones? No shame in being the most thoughtful.
Anybody put light,
All right, so, next I'm gonna read off
Might try.
every single one here. And then the next step we're gonna do is to develop themes. We're gonna like you all are gonna help develop the themes of like, what are some of the categories coming together? And then of those themes, we're gonna do then another round where you all are gonna say which ones feel like the most important of those themes. Sound good? Yeah. So, social district, grocery store, diversity of restaurants, more, better connection to residents with businesses. Be able to park downtown, without getting towed, more signage for the public, grants to support community events that reduce costs, new hotel sports complex to drive tournaments to our community. Mid-higher, echelon dining options, higher income housing options, safe, comfortable, atmosphere for walking, shopping, dining, positive, glass half full promotional messages that promote our strengths. Trader Joe's or similar grocery store, sandwich shop, modern restaurant bar, fluid communication of events, grocery store and hardware store, intentional retention support for maintaining buildings, more retail, housing density, something cool on the river, business diversity, more restaurants, food, retail, grocery store, parking access, livable spaces, condo, housing, rental, more restaurants, small grocery store, City Square West, space for events that don't cross roadways, more ways to get downtown, safer sidewalks, grocery store, signage. The city is strict around that. Foot traffic on West Second Street, a local newspaper, someone to occupy Cooper's, hotel, retail, housing, restaurant and bars, social service clubs are declining. Excuse me, trailheads with signage, missing trails, wayfinding. Not being able to use City Square West space or City Square Park for events, lack of awareness of what is going on downtown. Parking, quiet spaces, community gathering spaces, parking, snow removal, communications about downtown happenings, disparity of Hazeltine area versus town, more wow factor and attracting people. First, before we move on to themes, is there anything that came out of that you feel like gave you another thing to say missing or other phrasing that you want to add to this list?
I think housing is a theme for both, you know, that's important. Downtown, right? There's high density or more affordable or luxury, all the above.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you did say, residential density, but I think.
okay, great. So let's talk about, let's identify the general themes, and then I think it'll be worth like trying to hone in on what exactly is the right phrasing of some of these things. So we just heard housing, so we'll create one there. Some business types were identified. Does that feel accurate?
Yeah, grocery, restaurant.
Hotel.
And yes, grocery. And restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
And hotel.
Hotel, yep. You might couldn't. And What else do we have here? Sort of, there's something on access, both pedestrian and car, I felt like, around, there's both walkability and then there's some like parking or parking awareness. Um, I think there's another thing about, it seemed like there's something about like aware, sort of external awareness that encompass like sort of local paper, communications, promotion. Does that all feel batched together? And the sort of this big story. The panels. Narrative. What else feels like we haven't captured yet from your, either what you just say, what we've heard, what we listed off, what have you not yet? Put here.
We get the housing or the people living downtown, is that part of this?
Sure, yeah.
So-
More, and then there's also maybe a type, the city seemed like,
Yeah,
a desire for,
Maybe what are the barriers that are preventing these things that we want? You know, we discussed that,
discuss what the barriers are.
yeah,
I think we'll get there, so I think what we wanna do now is identify the major themes, and then what these mean, and then I think you all, what'll be useful, the next step will be you all saying which are the most important ones. Okay.
About comfort, whether it's parking, crime, whatever, I don't see, I mean, that was a theme that,
So would you say like the general like, experience downtown or experience, like baseline, there's a baseline comfort?
people need to be comfortable
safety.
finding a place to
Safety.
park, comfortable walking around safely. I mean, so just as a header, just like housing, just
And maybe
Consumer
add, like, I
comfort.
heard wayfinding signage and parking signage,
yeah,
like,
as part of that.
I think that,
Yeah.
because that walking around and knowing where you're going or what's,
one of the things we've discussed with the hotel down by the river. I
Yeah.
mean, just,
Well,
it's like I
it's
said,
public
just
safety.
comfort. Yeah,
is
but
part of
that's
it,
under
yeah.
the comfort. So
Yeah.
whether it's comfortable walking around, comfortable parking, finding a place to park, et cetera.
and I think there were a couple mentions of City Square Park and events and event locations, and then it just came up in the chat about, like, where do we have events? Do we use City Square Park? Bob throwing out just fabulous ideas, like converting the old former high school auditorium to a historic performance theater. Love that. Yeah, better use of City Square Park.
Some on the river, right, that was
Oh,
mentioned.
yeah, I would put, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that goes with events.
And we haven't, I mean,
No, we
that
talked
is-
about that too.
right,
Would this be under app, would this be a river its own thing or access?
I think River's its own thing with
Yeah.
like, if you put a wine bar and a nice restaurant and sit on a patio up on the river, I don't know.
So is it more like there's like more things to do on the river? Is
Yeah.
that the
So it
challenge?
could be, yeah, but.
Well,
It's just, it's hard because it's like keeping water out of downtown so we can all be here,
Yeah.
but also like it is kind of a cool thing we have here.
yeah, it's,
So we
It's
don't-
the thing that you would want to have happen on the river, that's not currently happening.
People gathering.
Yeah.
You know, nobody
just think-
gathers at the river.
yeah, it's a potential draw point, but it's tough to hone in on that. It's
Yeah.
tough to bring an amenity there for people to.
We don't need to be, we can ignore sort of the challenges of doing it, we're trying to identify, like, what we wanna try to articulate is like, what do we wanna try to achieve? Like, what do you wanna try to have, what do you wanna have happen at the river right now, it's not happening?
people gathering,
Like a
whether
river-
it's like a
river walk.
park, yeah, or something,
yeah.
that hotel's turned into a school event center or something.
Like go down there, and like a park or like a place to fish or kayak or canoe, like, it's not real, it doesn't feel real, like, I don't feel safe with my kids going down there to do those activities always, because it's kind of a mess a lot.
Sketchy.
I've heard safety too, so the safety around, is it like safety from being hit by a car? Is it safety from another person? Is it safety from like an uncared environment?
I think more uncared environment, and a lot of that is the water. I mean, and there's no real, I mean, there's like the boat landing, right? That's really it.
Yeah.
All right, anything that we've missed now from the themes? Any theme that here that's not capturing something that's been put up over there?
We'll tag off the rivers, gathering spots, whether the old high school gym, city square, the river. I mean, it was just, we're talking about, just like
Yeah.
Fireman's Park has created a municipal gathering spot, and then events choose to.
So you feel
Have-
like just generally there's a lack of places to gather?
No, I don't know that there's a lack. There's the river here.
Right.
There's a city square. There's not necessarily a lack, but how can we effectively, appropriately utilize what's already here instead
So
of
taking the spaces that you do have and making them better gathering spaces.
Yeah, yeah.
finding out creative ways to, just like Fireman's
Yeah.
Park,
So
to
would
create a
this-
destination for people to come.
Would this maybe then be changing from like river to like gathering?
I
and then
think it's-
River being a feature of that, and then City
Yes.
Square Web and others, and all those, does that feel more accurate?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, next.
I have one more if I can
Yes,
add.
great.
Facts. I think they're like, it's in there, but we maybe aren't thinking about it. The connectivity of our downtown, it was kind of mentioned, like, you know, not having to cross a big road, so it is something we have to deal with. There's two large roads running through our downtown.
Yes.
But somehow that connectivity cohesion, whether you're
Yeah.
north of 61, south of 61, west or east of 41, you still feel connected with like a cohesive downtown feeling.
Yeah, and that kind of get into access, or what it's like, cause it's.
Yeah,
probably connected
kind
when
of.
you're driving,
Yeah.
but it probably doesn't feel connected when you're walking.
Right,
Yeah.
Or biking.
If you're at Fireman's Park, you're not gonna shop on Second Street.
right.
It's a long walk.
Yeah, but even if it felt more cohesive, if we created that cohesion, you felt like you were downtown, no matter you were north or south of 61. I think we've done pretty good east and west, but we could probably be a little better north and south of 61.
I think somebody mentioned marketing more in a positive way, which I guess I think we do a lot of that. The city does a great job. I think the chamber does a great job. So I'd like to dive into that. I don't know if that's a theme. If the businesses downtown don't feel that, then we need to make sure we understand communications, because I think we do a pretty good job of it. So
The dialogue
yeah.
around downtown
Yeah.
marketing.
So how about we go through these and try to define, if we were wildly successful, like in in creating more, the housing vision that you all have, what would how would we define wild success? For having more types of more housing and more diverse array of housing.
Multi-use development, multi-use meaning not just single family home, but multi-use.
My mental model for that is what Victoria has done. They put some multi-unit market rate housing right downtown, and
Everybody's happy about it.
well, but
I think it's the quantity that they probably overdid, like,
Yeah,
if
but
we
they're-
had,
they got restaurants that we envy.
But they're
As a
higher end
result,
housing
that are
options and they
succeeding.
have disposable
Yeah.
income.
So that,
Yeah.
what my understanding is that, do people feel that the housing diversity that is missing in downtown Chaska is at the higher end of the
Yes.
spectrum?
I would say so.
So if we were really successful in this part, there would be more market rate, multifamily housing options
Yeah.
created in downtown.
I think more higher end. I mean, we don't, there is no higher end.
That's
housing.
I guess,
market.
yeah,
That's market rate,
I
yeah.
can do, I say high, yeah. All right, so more higher end market rate housing built in downtown. Does that feel accurate?
Yes.
Mhm, great. All right, business types. There's kind of three different categories here. I feel, I mean, there were definite themes around grocery, distinct from restaurant, distinct from hotel. So let's talk about grocery. If we were really successful in the grocery desire, what would that look like?
Ideal would be a destination grocery store like a Trader Joe's. I think I keep hearing that, you know, that's, and, or, yeah, something high end like a Kowalski's Lunch, whatever, but
Where's the next nearest grocery store?
Foods up north
yeah,
side.
North Chaska.
You got Midtown and Uptown, or downtown right now.
It's all one town.
One
So
time.
what's the type of, like, how would you, obviously I know Trader Joe's, but maybe getting away from the specific brand of Kowalski's or Trader Joe's, like, what is the characteristic of the
Probably
grocery store?
small box. I don't think it's another Cub Foods.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
It,
right.
it's gotta be,
Even like a Mac and Tunes, or Rotamacher, like those, I guess you probably don't, I don't know if you
Some
know
with
what those are, but
a
like.
bakery and a
Fam-
wine.
Even like
and
family owned,
like a
smaller, I think
neighborhood.
how you put it is a good
yeah,
way to put it.
it's like center store grocery plus some commissary, right?
So that would be, downtown has,
Tier.
It's like in a big
Small
city, in a big city,
format.
what do you call that one?
It's
They have micro
mid-
grocery
it's-
stores
it's-
in,
it's-
Yeah.
it's-
Now,
in neighborhoods, neighborhood
I'm
grocery
just,
stores.
as a, would Aldi's be, what you all would be okay?
We have
with?
Yeah, we have an Aldi's, so
But
probably.
yes, that would work in this location.
Right.
That would be appealing.
Would that meet your success? I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's probably, I would say more elevated and includes a commissary, meaning an
Yeah.
opportunity for a
Mhm.
bakery, deli, people to come in and get,
Yeah.
ready to eat, grab and go.
Yeah, because I think that was.
Versus I'm filling a basket for
Yes.
the next 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
That feel accurate? Any changes there? Okay.
Do you want us to like point out specifically where, because I think everyone probably has like a specific, there's a very specific building.
It's still a grocery store.
Yeah, right, yeah,
It's still a
okay.
grocery store.
I just want to make sure that was clear.
But, I mean, yeah, I imagine you're being location, I mean, if a Trader Joe's wanted to come in and
Yeah.
go somewhere else, it'd probably be okay if it was in downtown.
The ideal size would be like Glen Lake, Pleasant Bar.
Or the new Mac and Tunes in St. Bonnie there is fantastic, right?
Those people like
Minnetrista.
20,000 feet, I mean, Trader Joe's is what, 10?
Probably 35 or less.
Okay, restaurant.
KFC.
There are lots, obviously, there are many restaurants down here. What is the thing that is being desired from all the folks that put that up here?
We're missing a higher.
Yeah, fine dining. Casual fine dining.
More fine.
Okay, why do you all, as businesses that are not in diner, maybe you are, why would a fine dining restaurant be important here?
It's a gathering spot.
It's gonna attract that clientele. that-
It's a
have higher-
demographic.
Higher end housing to begin with.
I think it's
In
more
Chaska.
demographic.
We tend to go to Victoria for Noble Lion, Winchester and Rye.
Or we go
If
to
we
Eden
had them-
Prairie or-
If we had them
yeah.
here, and it's kind of the housing chicken or the egg, if you have mid to higher end housing,
Yeah.
people have the disposable income, they patronize a restaurant.
So it seems like, well, I mean, it's like, there's two aspects. There's one around like it being a destination that people would seek out. And then two, maybe you're not saying this, but I've seen this, a lot, but like, if like like a restaurant that helps promote the narrative of Chaska too. Cause I mean, beyond just the patronage, but that like builds awareness of the downtown. is that a component of
I
what
think
you're
it's
desiring
also
too, or no?
supportive new and upcoming neighborhoods. So you look at Edelwood, you've got a 55+ community, people with disposable income, people who are looking for what they used to have experience in their previous life setting.
Yeah.
And they have to go elsewhere now. They don't come downtown for that.
Yeah, they used to go to 50th in France, right? Now they have to go to Victoria.
Yeah.
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 So it's supporting of the current community that's emerging as well.
All right, so how about like destination restaurants,
Destination restaurants.
or not destination restaurant or
No,
a restaurant? or-
No, that's good.
Destination restaurant that maybe first retains, like retains people who are leaving,
Yeah.
or retains and attracts people from outside.
Even themed, and if that theme is higher end, because I think we have the Latino theme here.
Yeah.
Also, Patron seem to be active, but something along those lines.
Yeah. So like I said, attracts and retains higher end customers.
I think also it would be good to have those things, those types of businesses incorporated into the old buildings so that we retain the charm that we have down here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if it's a chain, like by the U of M, they have that Buffalo Wild Wings, but it's in the old.
Yes, yes.
You know, so it still keeps the.
I think if you go to Hayloft Studios and see what they did with the beautiful building and how they modernized it, and like, you could totally see a wine bar, 100%. I want you to clean up the upstairs, let's put a wine bar in.
City hands me a liquor license.
That also did come up though. Hold on, let's.
Bookstore would be nice.
I live and work downtown and I was like, oh, I just wanna go somewhere quick for lunch, and it's like, there's not like a lot of healthy choices.
Yeah, well, hopefully the grocer would, with the salad bar and
Yeah.
grab and go food, that would 100%.
Again, Winchester and Rye is a good example. They maintain the historic nature of that building where
Yeah.
they put the Winchester and Rye. They didn't demolish it and build a new.
Yeah, they demolished that old creamery.
Yeah, is this I mean, I know we're gonna keep on cruising through, is this okay for generally capturing your aspiration, or is there something else we wanna add to that?
Could you read that?
Yeah, destination restaurant that attracts and retains higher end customers and residents. Is there something else beyond a secondary? I mean, we can do another thing for restaurant if that doesn't, if there's we can adjust this or create another one in
I
addition
think I
to
would
it.
just say it's more than one, like we don't just want one,
Yeah.
Okay, restaurants.
like we need quantity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that serves each end of the day,
It's a
right?
tough-
You've got
it's-
everything
Or even
from,
during the day, there's a lot of people that work downtown with like the city, right, Carver County.
That's a
A
good
lot
point.
of people that are down here,
Yeah.
and then like use the area during the workday too.
Yeah, yeah, great breakfast place and great dinner place.
All right,
Yeah.
let's keep cruising, because then I want to get to the important part of prioritization too. Hotel. Is there?
Oh, the conference center and, you know, I think sporting complexes were on there that didn't get highlighted, but
Oh, yes.
we have so many athletics and so many kids in sports. You know, you do a tournament in Carver and they're all staying in Shakopee and Eden Prairie for hotels. And
Yeah.
so that's something we're missing out on.
We're gonna be doing a lot of training that we've had in the past at the bank, because we have a space for it.
Mhm,
We had nowhere for anyone to stay.
mhm.
So then we stopped doing it because we didn't have anywhere to put people.
Yeah. So if you're really successful in having a hotel hospitality option here, what would that? How would you know you'd be really successful?
It would be safe, people would feel safe staying.
Well, like what, okay.
We bring in a flag brand, bring in like a Marriott and call it Marriott River Center and put it here and have event space. And, you know, that will be a gathering place and that'll help drive events.
So not just a hotel, but a hotel that supports like meetings and events.
Yeah, I think that's 100%. That's missing. Just move Oak Ridge down here and reopen it.
Yeah. Kind of a mid-tier to a premium brand would be my suggestion as well, just.
Yeah, well, Keyport Inn sounds good, right?
There you go. It's-
Okay, great. Let's move on to, access. Uh, if the downtown, so we have walking connectivity across arterials, north-south. If we were really successful in creating the best possible walking experience in downtown Chaska, what would that look like? How do we know we were successful?
Well, you worked on the 50th in France project and so parking and traffic, because you have a giant hotel and you have all this great food. There's some friction there, right? Between I want to walk it, but I want to be able to drive it, park right there. So to me, it's somewhere in the zone of how do you hit success where you can do it all? And then I get to the zoning piece of it, where are you parking? Are you parking underground? Are you parking on the street? Are you parking in a ramp? If you have a 10-story high rise or you're like Victoria, how high are you? And now are you blocking that beautiful brick building? So there's something about the ecosystem of traffic and access that has to be, that has to gel.
Would it be, Catherine, it'd be like customers are, know how to get here and feel safe walking, or have like there's something about knowledge about where to park if they're driving. And then there's a safety element or a comfort element around getting to all the different places in downtown once they're here.
Like easy and pleasant.
Gracia said, safe, easy connection between all of the directions.
Well, and we've developed this paseo that we haven't really used yet.
Yep.
So my vision, I guess, would that becomes a really attractive walk that people want to do because it looks nice and there's things to do between point A and point B on that paseo. And ultimately on both sides of 41, to have that walkability and attractions and pocket parks and. What's that? Well, yeah,
Was
it's
just
it's
finished,
just been built and we haven't had our first summer of it yet and
So it's like clear, which is clear, safe and
attractive. I mean, just pretty and, yeah, just a nice environment.
Oh.
That infers you want the parking near those
Yeah.
sales.
We have anchor parking points along there, but how does that work?
It's a little bit interruptive.
Yeah,
You know, I love City Square Park, but it also interrupts the paseo, so.
but it's a nice place to walk. And so let's build that up. I don't know.
Connect it to a river walk and then bring it back down Pine, right? Like, I don't know, how cool would that be?
I think that's the problem, is there's a disconnect, right? The
Yeah.
paseo goes a certain distance and then there's a block and you can't get to the river.
Right?
Okay, how about this? Clear, safe, and pleasant, not present, pleasant arrival and journey throughout downtown.
Yep.
I think that captures both parking and walking. All right, we didn't get it. There were a couple comments about regulation and policy, which we should have themed out, but didn't. If we were really successful in having a regulatory world, that is different or better than we have now, how would you know that was happening? How do we know we were wildly successful in having a regulatory regime that best supported businesses and of course balanced
You'd have more
public
businesses
safety
here,
concerns?
Yeah,
right?
What's
I
that?
mean, you'd have more businesses here. I mean, you have everything from Sack and Whack and all, there's a whole bunch of things that are just like barriers for businesses to move in. And especially when you're in the historic district, I don't know all of it, but I mean, it's a big ask and it's something we want to make sure we do it right, get the right people in there too.
So is it about time requirements? Is it about awareness of what's needed to be done? Is it about money or which
Money.
of those?
I think it's, but
Yeah.
sure, a lot of it is financially.
Which parts of it are the financial burden?
Well, he talked about sack and whack fees. That's a big financial.
Yeah.
burden.
So, and if Sack and Whack was better, what would that look like?
How about not have them pay tens of thousands of dollars out of their pocket before they even open, like build it into more of a
You could do it like over time.
Yeah,
What is that?
water and sewer.
Sewer access charge, water access charge.
But a lot of the fees too are from the city, so it's like they allow
And the
people,
Met Council, the city.
yeah.
and the Met.
Yeah.
yeah.
And there
They
is,
decide how they
there is a
levy
new
the-
program for this.
Yeah.
So
Which is, yeah, but we
there's a
have
big
Anything else? I heard historic, I've heard other comments, and some of our one-on-ones about like the signage and other things. If there was a better like a better environment regulatorily for the historic district, what would that look like? That would both support the historic nature of the downtown and be better for businesses. What?
One thing we're doing today that maybe could do more of is building in incentives to comply with the historic standards and objectives. So, and funding to support that. So, and again, we do some of that, but in
Yeah.
an ideal world,
That's
there'd
one
be
part,
more,
yeah.
so.
That's a great possible answer to what question? What would be the thing that we're trying, is there any need, like, if we were really successful in having policies that supported the historic environment and supported businesses, what's missing about that? Is there something about awareness? Is there something about the amount of time it takes?
Maintaining historic buildings.
Is financial, okay. Other businesses?
on some of it we can't control, state level, like took Edible India 4 months, right, to get their health permit to open up, so that's, that's something we can't do at a local level,
Yeah.
you know?
Financing, just saying.
Yeah, right, there's a lot of cash.
All right, I'll just do additional.
Is this where we?
Education, maybe, yeah.
The social district?
Yeah, social district would be in there.
You say more about the social district, what does that mean?
So we've done it a couple times, with support of the city. Council has passed a temporary permit that allows people to dine and drink and then walk with their drinks and shop. There's, Anoka started it. I think Shakopee has put it into action, so they'll have one. We talked last meeting a lot about what's happening in Shakopee and the impact it has to us. The not auditorium, the other word with the A. Yes, and now they have the social district and.
All right.
Yeah, oh, no.
Oh, no, are we okay to move on to external awareness and narrative? Okay, so there's two ones I heard here. One is about like channels, like the places where marketing and communication is happening. And then there's another one about narrative. Anything, does that feel accurate? Okay, so for channels, what is the thing that if we were really successful at promoting, at having better marketing and communications, that would look like what?
I don't know how to say this, but I hear a lot from my customers, and I was never a reader of the Chaska Herald. I'm sorry to say, I came from Minneapolis. But there's some void that it left for people, and I don't know how to fill that gap. But there's some research to be done there, right? So if we only had a newspaper, I'd know what was happening. And I didn't get my information there, so there's something.
Electronic, but it's not
Right.
fully rolled.
There's
it's
something
not
that it's
out there yet. There is still something missing there, yeah.
Not understanding. I don't know what it is. I don't have the answer for it, but I continuously hear, we lost our newspaper therefore. And I don't know what that means because that is not the way that I got my news.
Yeah.
But I hear it consistently.
Are you all wanting to reach customers you're not feeling like you're able to reach right now? Not about the paper, removed from the paper being away, but like, yeah, what type of customers?
Awareness. So the studio has been open almost 2 years and still a lot of awareness. So there's the Chaska Neighbors Magazine, which is kind of, but I see when I lived in Minnetonka, I always got that Southwest every Thursday, and then Hopkins, that newspaper. That was a great little way to get.
I never get that magazine and I live in Chaska, so I don't know where I have to go to get that.
You want to say something?
I was just gonna say, I think to be successful, you just have to diversify how the message gets out there
I agree.
to the maximum you can figure out.
Sure.
So
We don't need to come up with an exact solve right now, but is reaching more, do you all feel like, is there a need for more awareness around the businesses and activities that are already here in Chaska?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you feel like that's the people in Chaska, or do you think that includes like further? I'm genuinely curious on that.
I'd love for it to be further.
Yeah, absolutely.
Id to northern Chaska to let them know what's going on down here
Yeah.
is more of a challenge because like you said, Sarah, what channel do you use? And I know we're not trying to solve that,
Right,
but
yeah.
I would agree.
And I think
It's,
the reality, and to your point, is you've got a spectrum of, Gen Z to boomers, and
Yeah.
everybody gets their news differently. And so the consistency or the daisy chaining of information to build that awareness.
We definitely felt it losing the Herald because from
Yeah.
a downtown marketing perspective, like we have
Yeah.
a tiny budget and Herald is a very cost effective way to hit a whole segment of people that aren't on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah.
And it was a challenge. I think we got the word.
I think it not only hit a whole segment of people, but it connected the northern part of Chaska to downtown Chaska. For those that may not, they pick up the paper and they see, oh, here is something. They may not have been the person that was reading the paper every single week, but, it allowed a little bit more of a connectivity, a physical connectivity.
I liked it because it was like factual source of information versus like what happens on Facebook, right? There's a lot of like
Chaska Underground, come on.
Yeah.
that are not true.
I want to
And people are like, well, the Herald is like a reliable source, right?
So is the awareness that you'd like to build, that you'd like more of, is it specifically of North Chaska? Is that,
I think it's surrounding communities too.
and the surrounding communities?
Yeah, I mean, we pull people in from, the outer tier of Minneapolis.
Yes.
Great, right?
Tourism will help with that, right?
So it's more like getting destination,
Yeah.
people who would come here for non-convenience purposes.
It's a little bit like, we used to think about Stillwater, Oh, everyone knows what you mean when you say Stillwater, right? It's that quaint little destination. It's got all these little shops to go to and people understand that, right? You want that reputation to prevail across the cities.
So that sounds like that's like awareness, and I hate the word brand, but let's use that. Like
Kind of a
Yes,
brand.
it is
Kind of a
branding. And to the point about the historical district, we're entitled to have the bragging rights to being quaint.
As the owner of 2 buildings,
Well-
yeah.
They were here before we were, so.
But I do think that sets us apart. I mean, I don't look at going to downtown Chanhassen as an event.
No.
no.
They have it.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Wish they had art.
Yeah.
I live there. I know, I'm just asking,
Wait, I
like,
thought you lived
they're
in
working on
5 minutes
They're
away.
trying to
defining.
create like a suburban-y,
Huh?
they're trying to create something.
They are, they're doing it.
All right, so awareness and features of
Yep.
brand of
Yep.
downtown
Yep.
Chaska
Turnout.
to those regionally. All right, and then narrative, let's get it, so we were already kind of talking about that, what's the narrative that you would like to have, that you want people to have about downtown Chaska?
Positive, the glass is half full. For example, parking is only an issue in the absence of an attraction. We need to emphasize the attraction, not lie about some obstacles,
Sure,
but
yeah.
de-emphasize those. And you talked about Stillwater. Parking's not easy there some days, but it's not an issue for people because of the attraction. So they'll
Parking problem
overlook
is a
that.
high-class problem. You want to have a parking problem, because that means there's a lot of people coming here.
Exactly. You don't want tumbleweeds blowing down your
Yeah.
street. It's just the psychological. You go by a restaurant where the lot's full, they could
Yeah.
be serving dog chow, but you think it's good because the lot's full.
How do you want people to describe downtown Chaska? Like, if you're successful in this, like, how would they be describing here?
Fun, vibrant.
Yeah.
Like,
Quaint.
Clean, vibrant.
Yep.
Beautiful, historic.
yeah,
All
chill.
here.
If you'd rather go there than Eden Prairie.
Charm.
The mall, I mean, it's like,
Yeah,
Hip happening.
prefer.
yeah, authentic. Delicious.
Delicious.
All right, let's go to comfort. Is that fun, vibrant, historic, authentic? All right, comfort and experience, knowledge of access points and feeling safe. Have we covered that through this stuff down here? Or are there other things we want to talk about, safety or knowledge of access?
Well, there's a reason we've asked the police department to have representation at our meetings because of the narrative that we're hearing about whether it's the hotel down by the river, just some of the riffraff, I
Yeah.
guess. So I think that's different than like walking
Sure.
and access.
So I talk about something like, real and perceived safety are both important. So that people people are actually safe and perceive themselves to be safe. Does that feel like what we're going for?
Their perception becomes reality.
Right, well, sometimes they're different.
Yep,
You
but I
want them
mean,
both to be true.
whether, yes.
But if they are actually safe and they feel unsafe, that's a big problem too. That's a big. So visitors feel and are they just are and feel and are safe.
It's not only visitors, but it's my staff when they leave at night, because we're on Second Street. And the stuff that goes on that hotel comes up to our place and it's not good,
Yeah, I use the visitors broadly, but I would say, everyone,
right?
I'll just put everyone. And then we can call out specifically that I'm hearing the hotel is the main driver of challenges.
Yep.
And
Sacred
now,
Ge-
yeah.
Well, and we have a jail downtown, so and that's a reality, like we need it, right? But when people get released, what happens? A lot of times they end up just walking
and sleeping on our park benches.
to where, right? Like so what's that step after they get released? Like, do they need a ride? Like, I don't know, that's my question.
Okay, those are good inputs towards our goal of everyone are and feels safe. We got just a couple more and then we'll prioritize. Events. One thing that we heard, a lot of assets, people got a lot of value from the events, and there's comments here about the locations don't always drive as much impact. If we had really amazing event, we were wildly successful in making the events even more impactful for you all, what would that look like? What would be happening?
Fire and Ice was pretty awesome last year. Taste of Chaska was pretty awesome. River City Days, and we were driving thousands of people down here through those events. So I'm kind of floored that that's up there, to be honest with you.
Is there like some room for events on the south side of 61, like closing Second Street and throwing a big party? Is that what anyone was
Well,
getting at?
the City Square Park, I mean, I know that's dodgy, right? But it's like, that's not gonna happen. So, you know.
Well, I have a question too, because there's like an event being successful because a lot of people showed up and then the event itself was successful. Are people here feeling that the events are driving, are driving business activity to your businesses?
Bingo. So River City Days, the last couple of years, it's wow over there at Lions, but the initial intent for River City Days, long before I was in the community, was the business owners got together and it was to drive commerce to downtown Chaska. It's great over there as far as numbers, but as far as the connectivity or lack thereof of commerce in downtown is no. I think that's what people down here are struggling with. And that was not the initial intent. And the footprint down here isn't the same as Lions Park.
Yeah.
It's great over there, but it's not great for commerce
Not
down
helping
here.
downtown, yeah.
But they don't even have a bus that comes from downtown, parking that could be downtown from what was River City Days.
Yeah.
Now it's up on the hill. I mean, have a bus come from down here have people come down here for River City Days and get bussed over there.
So it sounds-
many residents in downtown who just walk to the park. Yeah.
Right, so it's somehow destination event. The event is downtown.
So event, maybe the aspiration, of event, all events have meaningful impact on downtown businesses.
And I see with the River City Days, what we've tried to, when I'm there,
Yeah.
I don't know those people. They're probably coming from Belle Plaine, Eden Prairie, because social media and the band brought them in, whatever. That's great, because we're getting dollars from other communities, but it's not driving commerce down here. So like Gary said, if it's like force manipulation, we're manipulating, getting people down here by having them board the bus, whatever. I don't know what it is, but
We don't need to get to.
we lost the true focus of what River City Days was designed to be.
Well, Shakopee has, what's it called? It's called Rhythm on the Rails or something, you know, like there's more of a,
I love that.
multiple weeks.
It's jam.
Yeah, Excelsior has
And it brings people in.
regular
That-
music
that's
stuff.
a Big River City Days type thing. It can be a smaller event that happens more frequently throughout
Smaller,
the
more
summer.
They've been doing it for over 10 years and they shut down the whole street and there's business fronts right there. So we don't have the luxury of shutting down 41 and, you know, bringing everybody right to your business door, right? So I think that's the idea with the paseos is you can have some access to businesses that way.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point. We can't shut down.
No, yeah, not an
So
option.
that definitely creates, you know, a discussion around how do you activate an event that gets people out? That he had asked the question, but I'm interested in it. With the events that we do today, like Halloween and hometown holiday and whatnot, do you feel that that drives either dollars for the business that day or awareness that you're here?
Have anybody on Second Street that comes down to it on the west?
On hometown holidays, we actually had a business that said, hey, this doesn't help. We are a destination. Like what you're doing doesn't help other than take up our parking spots. So that's a reality as well. Doesn't always impact.
I think like we use those events, like we get involved at the events to have a presence there, then they see us
Mhm.
at the event. Versus like, they're not coming downtown probably for the business, they're going to the event and then they're eating, maybe.
Old National Ice Cream Truck.
I mean, I don't expect them to come into the bank during that event, but we're
Yep.
also closed.
Events drive meaningful commercial activity to downtown businesses that day or following. Close enough? Does that get your concern? Yeah, okay. And then last but not least, gathering activity. We had, lots of spaces identified. We want gathering. The thing, if we were really successful was if people are coming down here to socialize or to have fun throughout the year, that then also patronize businesses? Is there a certain group, is there young families in particular? Is that a group that is coming down here that you want to focus on? Or are there other demographic groups that you want to have down here socializing and gathering more on a day-to-day basis?
I think like that demographic is growing, younger families in the area, but we still have a very large aging population, so like, are we serving them downtown? Like, what can we do to engage, to get them out and to feel part of the community?
Yeah, like we talked about pickleball, bingo, like these pop-up events that we could do down here that target not only the families, but just the community in general.
Yeah.
So would the aspiration be, there are one or more spaces here that people are seeking out for recreation? How would we describe what we want to materialize here? There's something about like, people are coming down here and it's also driving business activity. And it's just like maybe going to Fireman's Park, I'm guessing, what I've heard. People go to Fireman's Park, they don't necessarily come into the rest of the downtown and do anything else. Is that something that's happening, right, generally?
Even looking when the Ryder Cup was here, right? Nobody stayed in town. Couldn't even really park in town. They had to park at Canterbury, at Valley Fair, and you'd get bussed in, and then, so when they were done, they left.
So you all identified gathering activity as something that you want. What would you, like, let's describe that.
I think there's something about just creating an opportunity to dwell. It's an experience. And it ladders up back up to the brand piece of it.
Yeah.
I think people are coming down to dwell aside from Fireman's Park in spaces because it's charming, because they feel safe, because there's the diversity of businesses,
So maybe it's
food.
like people are dwelling in the core of downtown.
Have a desire to come
Yeah,
and dwell.
yeah. Good enough? Okay. All right, last but not least. Take a Post-it note, rip the sticky part into 3 parts. And then, you don't have to do all 3, but come on up here and put your 3 little bits of sticky notes like that alongside what you feel are the 3 most important things that, need to be addressed. Not on, don't do it on this side, but like where we've tried to write and describe our.
No, you're supposed
Put your piece there.
Yeah.
Like that.
You don't need to sit down and mull. You can go.
I gotta go shoot.
Fun, we need more time.
Yeah, hey, that's the sign of a good meeting. You don't actually want it to end. So then-
Yeah.
What? Huh? What? She just dropped. I just was concerned. I wanna buy me. That's awesome. I think my wife would like that. I don't have Amazon. No, now. Oh.
I don't know where she got it.
Director Club?
What?
I make one for me and give
I
it.
told her I would probably show.
Can you get those at the consignment shop?
Oh, no, they're any priorities.
Yeah, one of one.
That's the information.
You're just gonna give it to.
It's good to see.
I know, I do. All right, gotta go see you.
Yeah, but I mean, the little side of Second Street, all that. No. The alleyway, food truck, parking. Over there. Yeah.
I'm trying to play through school.
I know, it's terrible.
I really wanted to do intro.
I know.
Just, we would have queued up 10
Yeah.
minutes.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard what I told Ben. It's great to see so many unfamiliar faces.
Yeah.
I mean, some I don't even recognize. So I've seen those guys before, but I'm not sure where that, what's that? What is it? It's up there by Little Caesars.
I don't know, I gotta go, but if you don't know me, I'm Steve, president of the Southwest Metro Chamber of Commerce. We've got almost 400 members, and this is the first time in almost a year and a half that I've seen more than 10 people in this room. So if you want your businesses to grow and improve, show up, be engaged. Like, that's your responsibility, right? The city and the chamber, we're gonna present opportunities for you to build relationships with our members, with our community, and it's on you to do the rest. So. I
March
love that you're-
14th, next is the next meeting
I love
here,
that
so.
you're here, and I think it's fantastic, and I just, yeah, I don't know, I'm pumped. I wish more you would show up on a regular basis, so I don't know if we need to have come every single time or what.
I'm sure I'll be back, at least to talk about next steps around.
Students that are here
Well, and
too.
what I'll add to, for Steve, is a lot of what our meetings are updates from the city around things that are happening, like wayfinding signage. So you get to learn a lot of the things that are in the mix and give your feedback on them. So if we're not headed in the right direction, we can make changes and make it better. So there is a lot, and the Zoom is always available. So if coming and sitting here with the really great coffee isn't the thing, hop on Zoom, or watch the recording. the great thing about being present is you can share your feedback so that we can, so we've got your feedback. We can make things better.
Well, thank you all. Maybe last part, is there anything surprising that has come out of this last hour together?
Thanks, man.
Okay, thank you. Like,
You know, this is
or
Bob.
you saw this all coming.
Yeah.
Completely. Good on you.
I think we've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah,
No, in our local group we have.
yeah.
I think
You know,
just from,
can you
like,
guys hear
my
me? This is
standpoint as a
Bob.
Council member, what's surprising to me is just to hear some of this, because I don't think it's always what I hear, like, going into your businesses. Like, some of these things haven't been necessarily mentioned, I think, to Steve's point, the little advertising you did for these meetings, that's where it's helpful to hear that. So I think that I'm really grateful, because some of these things, it's like, oh, okay, we can think about projects differently, or, you know, that sort of thing from a city perspective.
Can you
Yeah.
guys
I was
hear
just
me?
gonna
This
say,
is-
I'm Taylor. And for those who don't know, I'm the mayor. So I'm here, really to like listen and observe, and it's really great. I just want to thank everybody for taking the time out of their day, and those that are on Zoom, as well, for taking the time out of your day to show up and participate. It's really good to hear the feedback. The city wants to be a good strategic partner for your businesses for success of Chaska. And I'm always available. So if anybody has any questions or needs anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
I've got Bob on Zoom, and Bob would like to share.
Can you guys hear me?
No.
You can't hear me?
Oh, hold, Bob. We're having AV
I think it's.
Maybe it's not, maybe his is muted.
he doesn't look like he's muted.
It says I'm unmuted, but I don't, if you can't hear me, then I can't share. So, sorry about that.
So they can hear us.
I just wanted to say, Molly, if you can hear me, I just wanted to say
Is it
that.
Bob?
Well, and Bob, it'll be recorded
Yeah.
too,
Is that-
so
You're doing
you
that,
go
you
ahead and
cut
say
him
it.
off?
No one's cutting Bob off.
Jeez, thank you very much, yeah.
No, that's not my personality either.
Output audio. That looks good.
I'm gonna test this. Otherwise, he can, maybe he can type it in the chat and then we can read it here.
Well.
Bob, you can still
it-
say it out loud.
This is
It'll
my
be
first meeting.
recorded on
Very
Zoom.
exciting. Thank you.
So
Oh,
just go
that's
ahead.
what you want me to do? Okay.
Yeah, just go ahead and
my
say it.
take- My take is that
Sorry.
No,
There
that's
is-
okay. I think, and it started with your comment, it would be great to hear if you want to see something more from the businesses, right? The city wants to be part of the success, but if there's something missing there, like you're not hearing it when you're visiting, are the businesses being vocal enough? Or is there something missing? Not to put you on the spot, but.
No, I think that's where these meetings are so helpful. I'm glad Taylor introduced herself. I'm Michaela, council member. I live downtown my whole life. And I'm the liaison to you guys as far as the Downtown Business Alliance. And so that's where it's helpful for me, because I come every month. I'm really intentional about being here. And so that's, you know, one avenue. I do try and get into the businesses a lot as well, post on social media, but I think this is an easy avenue for that. Obviously, my email is always open, similar to Taylor, phone call, text, whatever. But I think just like literally hearing about housing and the housing options you want, those kinds of things are super helpful. And so I always say, like, never hesitate to just let us know your thoughts, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise. I mean, if you want to pick up the phone and like scream at me about something you're mad about, like, at least I'm hearing you, and that's good too. So
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have you guys come to me and Michaela or any other council member or even city staff, and air grievances or talk about, you know, frustrations or successes, you know, before sounding off and Chaska uncensored, because we're there to help. We want to be a helpful partner to everybody here. And I want to see every single business here succeed.
Yeah.
And feel like this is their business home, because that's important. You guys have made an investment in being here, and it's reciprocal.
Is there any update there from Bob, or should we close it out?
Yeah, let's do this and I'll see if we can coordinate maybe with it.
Well, I just want to say thank you for all being here. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate all your contributions and hopefully you got something out of it and had a little bit of fun. So.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we're gonna incorporate this. I've had a couple of other one-on-ones for people that were interested in doing that. We're also sending out a business survey to folks. You can also take that, and for folks who aren't able to be here, we're sending out a resident survey that will get some of these questions as well. And then I'm also talking with city staff and Jen and other stakeholders, and we'll incorporate all this into an assessment recommendations specifically focused on events, communications, Paseo, the city-owned vacant lot, and then other general things that come of that. And then we'll be working with the association and the city to implement some of these recommendations over the course of the year. So it's not just a stale report that we walk away, but we'll help kind of make some of this stuff happen and iterate and learn from inevitable lessons from trying new stuff. So
4 or 5 minutes.
present the findings and the plan that's coming out of this stuff. So, and if you've got other ideas or questions or comments that come up, send them to Jen and then she can probably send them to me.
And it was refreshing, I think, for us to see some of this because, and to let you all know that we're talking about it and we've been thinking about it. We know hotels and restaurants and better communication and events and like, so it was great to hear that that's some of the things that you're thinking about. Because they're definitely things that we've been talking about. We have a hand.
Yeah, my name's Noah. One of the students working on our capstone team, do kind of similar work in tandem with the lead group. And just wanted to let you know that we'll be reaching out next month to also conduct some one-on-ones. And we're coming up from a couple of different perspectives, but really want to hear your perspective. And I've worked for a couple local governments and very engaged groups, like fairly productive. So that can work with you guys.
I just want to make a plug too for the business newsletter that I've started. If anybody has news that they want me to share, feel free to share it with me. We're going to try to put this newsletter out once a month. So I'm always looking for new updates. And if you need,
right?
or spotlights, if anybody wants to, we're going to do business spotlights as well. So, and if you need a card,
On next, okay?
here's my card. I'll leave it over here.
Yeah, I have cards too, if anybody wants.
I had a quick update about Hazeltine. I don't know if anybody heard that they are going to be expanding.
What did you say, Kelsey? At the be-
Hazeltine is gonna be expanding, so we're partnering with Hazeltine, so it's gonna be really cool what they're doing up there. So,
Condos and stuff, right?
All right, I've got.
yeah, training facility, like all kinds of stuff.
I know
So,
they're doing a 9-hole course too.
yeah, yeah, so that'd be really cool for Chaska.
We're trying to bob it.
Technology fails, you just get in hand. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, we,
I'm Sarah, by the way. Nice to meet you. I'm assuming you're at the, Love Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped in yet. I mean, even the front is great.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah, yeah.
thanks, yeah.
I'm Vince.
Oh, nice to meet you, Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah,
Nice to
this
meet
is Neil. We're actually, yeah,
Neil,
we're hooked
Vince.
together.
Okay. Yeah, I know I've seen you getting a sign over by
Yeah,
the shop.
yeah.
I was trying to,
Yeah.
like, hurriedly
I'm gonna
trying to
come-
take notes. and I was
We're
like,
having AV difficulties, so I'm gonna come right in.
You just need to participate.
Very quiet.
Sure, sure.
And Bob, the floor is yours.
Well, thanks. I just wanted to share that, downtown revitalization in Chaska is probably in a serious way going back to, probably the 1970s. And when there was a recognition that, there needs to be some energy put into the downtown and that's when some really serious discussion started about, well, what has to change?
And some of that was just kind of the aesthetics of the, you know, beautifying downtown, some of that. But there's an evolution of downtown that's gone on for those, you know, 50, 60 years of time. And it, when I was a kid growing up, in downtown, it was a retail center. It attracted all the business and people from the smaller towns that surrounded Chaska. Then the malls came. And the message to Chaska and its downtown was that, well, the cost of doing business is the same on our main street versus the malls and the foot traffic is no comparison. So the retailers left downtown and went to the malls. And now there's evolution away from the malls, or the malls are struggling because of all the online and the out of the world that, you know, change commerce with buying habits. And so it's that constant, you know, that evolution that, you know, we need to stay on top of and understand. And I think there's part of, I was sitting there listening today and, you know, there's some of this history that is probably good to, in terms of just framing, you know, having to frame the discussion of what it is today and what's going on. You know, the discussion like the hotel discussion. I mean, they were kind of, the hotels wanted to come to Chaska, they would say, at least my experience in recalling the discussions was that you need a traffic generator. You need a significant, for us to come off of Marion, to come off the Chaska. The feedback was, well, you need to ensure that you can provide the traffic that can help fill our hotel. And we've got to be convinced that you can do that. And so they were focused on, it might be changing now with the 212 clinic and what's going on there, that they can provide that kind of traffic that, you know, the hotel may be interested in that. But that means they want to be located out, you know, outside on 212 and close to the 212 fund. And so I just, you know, I thought, you know, maybe it's worth some time to just revisit some of the history and some of the feedback from that history that, you know, because some of the discussion from today has been talked about many times in the past. And here's the feedback that was heard at that time. Now, maybe some things have changed, but there might be value in terms of just talking about, you know, what can we expect of downtown? And in terms of the energy and vitality, because it went from a retail center to, well, we got to make sure that it's active and vital, that there's energy downtown, that there's people downtown, that it's why the government centers are there. It's why the license center is there. It's why you want active, healthy churches downtown. You want, it's why, you know, City Hall stayed downtown. And because it provided that kind of energy. And if we couldn't be a retail center, and at the end of the day, the key thing, and I'll stop here in a second, the key thing was to bring residential density. If I had 3 votes today, I'd put it on the residential density. Now, the challenge is that there's been 500 units added in Chaska that's probably satisfied the residential density. The department, the housing that's needed. So we probably couldn't interest some developer to come in and put apartments in downtown, given the demand that's probably been met by the 500 units that have been added recently. It's just kind of the lay of the land right now. But
building that demand in downtown is important for the future of downtown. I really think that's true. And if we can add units downtown, boy, I would think that should be a real priority because that can only help ensure that people they're downtown already. They're going to look for goods and services. They're going to want to get their meals and take advantage of what's offered in downtown. But that would be my highest priority in terms of, can we make that happen? We may have to wait a little while now in terms of, because of all the units that have been built over the last few years. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I just wanted to share that, maybe next time we can set aside a couple minutes and we can just talk about, here's the evolution of the downtown. And here's why it is. And at least what drove that. And maybe there's some changes to today, but it gives us a chance to at least talk and react to that. And that can lead to some interesting discussions, doesn't it?
I like that. Well, thank you very much. And I will let you go and happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Very good. Same to you guys.
Bye.
Hey,
All right.
so we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.